All right, today we are jumping into a project that's making one of the boldest claims you'll hear in the entire crypto space. It's called TOI Chain, and its whole goal? To solve a fundamental, decade-old problem that has always held blockchains back. Let's get into it.
So, let's start with the big central question. For, over a decade, developers have been stuck with this really frustrating choice. If you want a blockchain to be super fast, you usually have to give up some decentralization. And if you want it to be as secure as a fortress, well, you're probably going to have to sacrifice some speed. It's the core conflict at the very heart of the industry.
And yeah, that conflict actually has a name. So in this first section, let's break down this puzzle that up until now has seemed pretty much unsolvable. It's the very puzzle that TOI Chain, and that's TOI, pronounced toy, was specifically designed to crack.
It's called the Blockchain Trilemma, and the core idea is pretty simple, right? Networks have to balance three absolutely essential things. Decentralization, which just means no single person or group is in charge. Security, which is all about protecting the network from attacks. And scalability, which is just the ability to handle a ton of transactions really, really quickly. The trilemma says you can pick two, but you can't have all three.
Now, this table really shows you what those trade-offs look like in the real world. You've got Bitcoin, super decentralized and secure, but we all know it's slow. Then you have something like Solana, which gets incredible speed, but to do it has to make some compromises on decentralization. But then, look at the bottom row. TOI Chain is claiming high across the board. They're basically saying they want to break this entire model. And look, this isn't just some theoretical academic problem. This trade-off is the #1 reason we don't already have things like global payment systems or truly decentralized social media running on a blockchain. It's been a massive roadblock, keeping the big players, institutions, governments, from really diving in. Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. Now let's meet the project that's claiming it has the solution. This is TOI Chain, and their mission? It's about as direct as you can get. Build a blockchain that delivers decentralization, security, and scalability all at the same time, with zero compromises. It's an incredibly bold mission, and they've built this thing from the ground up to do just that. So the big question is, how in the world are they planning to pull this off? In this next section, we're going to look at the key pieces of tech that they say gives TOI Chain its superpowers. So according to their technical documents, the magic really comes from a mix of a few key breakthroughs. We're not going to have time to go through all four, but for this explainer, let's zoom in on two of the most important ones you see here, something called deterministic parallel execution and a totally different way of writing smart contracts. Okay, so superpower #1 is parallel execution. Now, you have to understand most blockchains process transactions one at a time, like a single file line. It's slow. TOI Chain, however, is built to process thousands of them at the exact same time, in parallel. The bank teller analogy here is perfect. It's the difference between having one cashier and having thousands all open at once. It just completely changes the game for transaction speed and scalability. And this image right here, this gives you a little peek under the hood. This is their gateway architecture. It's a key part of the complex system that manages the super high-speed parallel environment. It makes sure that even with thousands of things happening at once, it all runs smoothly and talks to the main chain the way it's supposed to. The second superpower really zeroes in on security. TOI Chain uses what's called a functional smart contract language. Now, without getting way too technical, it basically means the contracts are built in a way that just eliminates entire categories of common bugs. You know, the kinds of bugs that have led to billions of dollars being lost on other blockchains. You can actually prove a contract is safe before it ever goes live, which is a total game changer for anything serious, like finance or governance. So that's the tech, but what does it all mean? How does this stuff translate to the real world? Let's talk about the actual impact and answer the big question, why does solving this trilemma even matter? Well, if TOI Chain can actually deliver on this promise, it could unlock all sorts of applications that just aren't really possible today. We're talking about the backbone for national digital currencies or settlement systems that can move massive amounts of assets across the globe instantly. We're even talking about economies run by AIs, all things that need insane scale, total security, and decentralization. And this slide, this really says a lot about their ambition. See, TOI Chain doesn't just want to be another blockchain off on its own island. The goal is to be a foundational layer, a central hub that can connect to other networks and boost their capabilities, basically providing the core trust and horsepower for a huge interconnected ecosystem.
Real quick, let's touch on the money side of things. This is how they plan to allocate their native TOI token. And the thing that really jumps out is that the biggest single slice, 38%, is set aside for the community and ecosystem. That tells you they're putting a huge emphasis on getting developers to build on their platform and rewarding the people who help run and secure the whole network. And that brings us to our final section. Let's zoom all the way out and look at the biggest picture here, the ultimate vision that's driving all of this technology. This quote from their vision statement really says it all. The end goal here isn't just to be a faster blockchain. It's to become the global trust layer. Think about that. They want to be a fundamental utility for the entire digital world, a secure, decentralized foundation that the financial systems of the future, AIs, and even new forms of government can be built on top of.
And so I want to leave you with this question to think about. If a project like TOI Chain actually succeeds, if they make trust something that is programmable, infinitely scalable, and totally decentralized, what changes? I mean, really, what doesn't change? It's not just about faster payments. It's about completely rethinking how our world is put together. A big thought to end on. Thanks for tuning in.